And I'm back this morning. I got the keys to the kingdom again, guys. How are you all doing this morning? Joining me as we prepare for Manchester United on the lights tonight against Copenhagen in the UCL. Let's go, guys. What's going on? Welcome to everyone joining me in the VR room. I know the stream was a bit abrupt, and I'm not sure if the publication was out last night, but I'm live. Let's go with Manchester United team news ahead of the clash versus Copenhagen. Bella,
Welcome back
take it
to
away.
Mufc Realist TV. My name is Bella. I am a presenter and hostess of this channel. Thank you for tuning in. The show is about to begin. I want you to give this video a cheeky little like and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. As you must agree that I am better looking than Marc Goldbridge.
Bloody
so what
hell.
are you waiting for? Just do it. Smash that like button now. Let's go Reds. Buckle up. Get ready to rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
And we got to get ready. It's going to be a battle tonight because we need to be on and ready, waiting, ready to play. We need to be ready tonight, guys. I know I said it so many times, but yeah, it's about tonight, guys. We need to win. There's nothing else we can do if we want to continue in the Champions League. As Manchester United, there's nothing less could be expected of us but a win today. And, it's going to be a challenge because Copenhagen has played very well in their games. They've scored first in both games against Galatasaray and Bayern Munich. So it's going to be a bit of a tough 20 minutes, maybe some squeaky bum time in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game because they're going to come out and they play compact and they're expansive when they go forward in a very, very efficient counterattack. So Manchester United has to be up for this game today. And let's get into some of the team news because it's going to be interesting. And I just wanted to say some bits about availability of players and what's happening in the ether this morning. So as I add this to the stage, kept out, top scorer for Copenhagen, Andreas Cornelius, is out with injury. He came back from injury to score against Galatasaray in their game, but was unable. Galatasaray and Bayern Munich, but is unable to make the trip to Manchester due to injury concerns and is kept out of the game. So that's going to be an advantage to Manchester United. And guys, what are you thinking? I know it seems like it's going to be a tough game. Everybody's wondering if we're going to draw, if we're going to win, how it's going to be for us. I think it's going to be a tough game, but we're going to win. Manchester United at home, first game back in tribute of Sir Bobby Charlton. I don't think there's going to be much left up for discussion here, my friends. And as we move on, right, Casemiro missed out on the 2-1 win in the league, Premier League for the United when he was unavailable after being injured playing in international duty for Brazil, right? And he was unavailable this weekend and he is back, right? And Ten Hag has been commented as saying he picked up injury during international break while playing for his country, will not feature, but it's possible he will be in selection for the game versus Manchester City. So Casemiro is back, guys. He's no longer injured. He's in training. And I just want you guys to know we are going to get the Brazilian center man back on Saturday for the derby, right? And another big boost coming into Erik ten Hag this morning is that Mitchell van der Gaag is committed to Manchester United, guys. So, a lot of news has been going around. Ajax has sacked 4 managers. Ajax is 17th in the Eredivisie, second from bottom. And everyone is wondering, what is happening to Ajax? Well, it's simple. Erik ten Hag is at Manchester United. A lot of pundits say Ajax has such an efficient training style and system. Players train at that system since they are 14 years old, 7 years old, all the way through to the first 11. And anyone could coach Ajax. So why are they 17? They've lost every single game they've played since August. And Mitchell van der Gaag has just said, Although I am open to the move, I am very committed to Manchester United. And I also agree with this because at the current state of affairs, with the toxicity around the club and the looming of doom of the Ratcliffe and Glazer partnership, that's a possibility still. I don't think Eric Ten Hag could afford to lose Michel van der Gaag right now. So it's going to be a very, very good thing, excuse me, if he stays in Manchester United. So, guys, what are you saying this morning? Let me just hop into the VAR room and say hi. And Leonard is coming in. Good vibes. Good morning, my bro. How are you doing today? Sanjay Ramatar is here. Good morning to you, Sanjay. What are you up to? What are you saying this morning? How is everything doing for you? And Sanjay is saying, Glazers out, Glazers out, Glazers out. And I totally agree with you, Sanjay, because these guys are like vipers. They just suck in the blood out of United fans. All the joy and all the emotions, they just take away from you, right? It's not good at all. Right, so let me just jump back into some bits of the news and then I'll get back into the chat. Hey, guys, don't forget to come in, like, subscribe, and share so that, we can spread the channel around and avoid the clickbait wankers and the corporation guff. You know what I mean? This is all for free. It's super easy. You could just click a like, come in, have your comments. We can interact. I will read your comments live. You know what I mean? If you have questions, I can answer them. If you have statements, I can read them as well. Come have your say. And as we move on in the paper talk, Sir Jim Ratcliffe set for 25% stake in Manchester United. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has started an audit into the recent history of transfers at Manchester United. He wants to ensure that the same mistakes are not repeated in the future, according to reports. The British billionaire is closing in on a minority stake of the Red Devils in the Qatari banker Sheikh Jassim left the race to take over Manchester United. Ratcliffe is set to buy 25% of the Premier League club from the Glazers supporters, hoping his input can have a positive effect in the turnaround of the club. And this is an article by Marc, which I totally disagree with because no supporters of Manchester United are interested in a partial sale. I would like to say that some fans are probably just depressed by the whole situation and they feel like they are powerless other than protesting. So it's more like acceptance of a defeat to have Sir Jim Ratcliffe come into the club. And Jarvis is coming in. Good morning to you, Mr. Cocker. How are you doing today? It's good to have you here. Enjoying the morning as I present. And also, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said to Eric Ten Hag, it is reported that he must win tomorrow. And if he loses, his job might not be so safe because Manchester United deserves to be in the best competitions and cannot afford to be knocked out of the Champions League. I might disagree with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but at the end of the day, if he happens to get that 25% stake, he will definitely have a say. Now, United fans, we must back our manager. And today against Copenhagen, our manager will deliver us victory today. I can see that. I can believe that. It's just something that, it might be a tough game, might not be a big scoring game, but the win and the 3 points will be what matters the most. And Ivo Bosic is coming in. I'll tell you what happened to Ajax. The team stars got picked apart by other European clubs. It's not as simplistic as only about bad fraud leaving them. He's one factor, not the only. And I'm agreeable with that. That also makes sense. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he is one of the major factors. And that will be another major factor, I think. So if there are two factors, he is one of them. And that's the most important part. Sanjay Ramatar is back in again. The NYSC should look into the reason of the sale. It could be stock manipulation. I agree with you. Question: how is Sir Jim giving ultimatums to anyone considering he isn't our owner? Well, Ivo Bosic, I'm just reporting the news as reported by others who are professional journalists and they be doing this for their, it's their career. So I would take that they're doing their best journalistic work. At the end of the day, I'm not going to believe it 100%. I'm just bringing you the news so you are informed, right? And Eric Ten Hag has said that his team is ready and up for what would be an emotional game tomorrow, right? And it's also the first game at home back since the passing of the late, great, the one and only Mr. Manchester United. Sir Bobby Charlton. And as we honor him this month, this year, right, Manchester United will strive to do their very best to tribute this game to him with a victory. More news now. And Rio Ferdinand has been said to be saying all the Manchester United stars need to rally behind Andre Onana. And as we know, Andre Onana has been having a poor start to the season, conceding more than 13 goals already, and he's just not having that sensational high play football where we know he plays that super keeper really well. He's not playing high up from his box. He's not, he's not doing the things that normally he would do, like we've seen in the Champions League versus Man City. We've seen for Inter Milan. He's just been having a tough go at it. And I urge fans, I know it's a lot of criticism. And I know he's done some weird things in saving goals. And sometimes he doesn't parry the ball away from the goal, but in front of it. So he puts himself in more jeopardy. But the guy has taken over the Manchester United #1 spot. And it's a difficult spot to carry. The pressure of that spot is probably twice of most clubs. Manchester United fans are highly critical. They have high standards. And we as a club have always had high standards. It's been set by the man himself. So everyone, please give Andre Onana your support. He's, after all, our #1. And he just came here. There's going to be ups and downs, good games and bad. But he's going to get it. And eventually the team and him, they will have their understanding. It's going to be sorted out. Rome was not built in a day. It takes time, And Mick Ruby's back in this morning. Good morning from Sweden. Good morning to you, Mufc Realist TV. Mick Ruby, how are you doing today? And Sanjay Ramata is back in. Good morning from Odivelas, Portugal. Wow, pretty nice. Bed is pretty nice over there. And warm too, maybe. Probably warmer than where I am right now. Yeah, Ivo Bosic, we're always questioning the media here because at the end of the day, there's an NDA involved. And how could this be true when there's a non-disclosure agreement? I don't know. Are leaks true? Sometimes they have some truth behind them, not always. Injury boost. And guys, Rafael Varane is back and ready. Sergio Reguilon has been said to be fit and ready and available for selection tomorrow, as well as Kobe Mainoo, right? So there are a few stars coming back. And as this month proceeds, you will see a multitude of players returning to the club. And I bet you guys, this, a lot of people say it's not an excuse that we have injuries. But when your entire starting back four and main defense, where your team built all their victories around the season previously, is out injured for multiple games, it's going to be a big problem. No matter what you say, right? Even if you have a #2, a #3 in that position, it's very imperative that, you get either your #1 starting or your #2. Because if it's your #3 or 4, the drop-off is really huge. And sometimes, they may not really have that capability. You know what I mean? It's not about just having football IQ. It's about having the capability, the technical ability, and the athletic ability to carry out your tasks for the manager, guys. So let's get back in. Mark Davies is coming in. Good morning. United players must play with passion. They must play with the badge today, Mark. Yeah, Mark, I agree with you. You know what I mean? These players have not been showing that hunger, that fight, that grit that we are accustomed to with the normal United players, Like there was recently a documentary out on David Beckham. I think every United player needs to see this. The guy went through a lot. He never gave up. He backed himself through it all. When everyone was, saying he's a terrible person and all sorts of negative things to him, he did his talking on the football field. Manchester United players need to get serious. They need to start researching their opponents. They need to start training themselves to be the very, very best that they can possibly be, athletically and technically. Brendan Chappell is back in. At the very least, they should play for the wages they get. I'm always saying this too, Brendan. I totally agree with you. Jarvis Cocker is coming in with a huge question. Would you take Douglas Costa on a free from LA Galaxy? The 33-year-old Brazilian and former Juventus and Bayern Munich winner could replace Jadon Sancho short term. I would say to you, Jarvis Cocker, give him to me today. You know what I mean? If Douglas Costa could keep 60% of his ability and form that he's shown over the years and deliver that every single game, I would definitely take him because he contributes not only assists, goals, he's very good on corners and free kicks, left or right foot. The guy is amazing, in my opinion. One of those footballers that I wished he had came to Manchester United. You know what I mean? Gosh, that guy is good. Brendan Chappell, why not give you the chance though? We have loads. I agree with you, Brendan. Like, we should be giving some youth a chance. Like, I'm always talking about Hannibal Medjugorje because he impressed me. I'm not a fan, but he did impress me over his play. And I'm always pushing for the likes of Kobe Menu because of what I've not seen in the youth team and what I've seen over the preseason tour. You know, I'm really excited to see Kobe in our team, and I think he's going to play a key role this season because the manager seems to have pushed his development forward, you know, and moved other players on so he could focus on Kobe, you know, because last season we had Zidane Iqbal and Savage, and they've both been moved on, you know, so it's really interesting to see what will happen with those youth that are currently there. But I'd also like to mention there's young Dan Gore Jr., who came in the game against Crystal Palace, and he played really well. He's very combative, solid in the midfield. He can pick a pass, you know, he can make a tackle. He's got a good engine. These youths are very good. However, the only youth I've seen worth their pennies in defense are, you know, the young Alvaro Fernandez we have out on loan to Granada. I think he's very amazing. I think he should be in line to be our future left back because he's very, very good, you know, technically and physically, and he's got a good engine. He runs up and down the field. He looks like he's never tired. You know what I mean? We also had a young man called Marc Jurado, who's a Spanish international, and he has been sold. You know, he was really, really good off the right. You know what I mean? Almost as good as Diego Dalot, I'd say, because he goes forward just as good, and he's very good defensively. I don't even know why he was sold. So, you know, I would like to give you the chance, but at the end of the day, you guys have to remember, we are Manchester United, and as much as we want the youth to play, there's going to be a lot of fans who also want to win right now. You know what I mean? Because we are in 9 games in the Premier League in our second season, and fans think we should be competing for a title. I know we are Manchester United, but we haven't shown that type of grit, form, intensity for about 5 seasons, you know? So it's like we have to be a little bit realistic, not dropping our standards, but maybe keep our expectations a little bit down and, you know, back the team because they're going to go through teething problems. You know, it's going to get worse before it gets better sometimes. That's how it works. You know what I mean? So back in, our new motto should be, you can't win without the kids. Well, I don't disagree with you, Brendan. You know what I mean? The kids are always necessary for the future of our club, and they're always, it's just like part of the fabric of what we stand for as Manchester United, you know? Evo Bossett, Jarvis, long answer short. No, we don't need more footballing grandpas. We have Palestri and Ahmad here. Should we sell them if we aren't using them? Give youth a chance. And I can't disagree with you, Evo Bossett. I stand corrected. You know, I got hyped about the thought of Douglas Costa because he is a good player, but we do have youth. And you're right. Like, you know, Garnacho should be getting his chance. Palestri should be getting his chance. I'm a kind of a fan of Palestri, to be fair. I think he deserves to start more games. You know, a lot of people criticize his game against Bayern Munich, but I think he played really well. Alphonso Davies is one of the quickest fullbacks in the world. You know, not much people could beat him for pace, not even Marcus Rashford. And Garnacho had him beaten for trickery. He was lucky to have pace. So, you know, I think the young lad deserves a chance. Sometimes they don't get to show their mettle in one game. You know, sometimes a run of game breeds that confidence and that energy, that fire. You know what I mean? So I would like to see him get a run of 3-4 games in a row starting. You know what I mean? You know, Anthony hasn't looked too great, but I think he will come back in. You know, the guy has been through a lot this last few months, and he hasn't played much football, so give him some time. and Mark Davies is coming back in. We need a player like Roy Keane. He had passion and heart. He played for his badge. He was the best player for United, Mark. Yeah, I agree with you. I can't disagree. We need to get a player like that back. But you know what I mean? Like, are we, I understand the profiles. I understand what you're looking for, right? But as United fans, I think we also need to look to the future. You know what I mean? We had a strong history, strong past. These youths here, some of them have different characteristics. We need to try to develop them in a way that they develop into players like those of that stature. You know what I mean? And yeah, we could always hope that we find a next Roy Keane, a next David Beckham, a next Ronaldo. I think Garnacho might be that. You never know how he might develop. You know what I'm saying? Norman Barnes is coming in. We need to be screwed on tonight to get anything from this game. And that's a fact. Stephanie Griffith is coming in. 11 likes, guys. Smash that like button and subscribe. Share us around so everyone could get a chance to view the community, enjoy the community, and like the community. Jarvis is back in. Ivo Bosic, I agree. But playing devil's advocate, it's a low-risk short-term Simon. Ahmad is injured long-term, and Palestri need more time. Games are coming thick and fast. Jarvis got the points, man. Milos Mitic, I'm sorry. I'm not that polyglot guy, but I hope you're having a good morning, and I understand you probably would like to see Garnacho, Højlund, Palestri in the game, and Rashford and Anthony off the bench. I hope that I'm getting that right. And I won't disagree with that, because for me, Rashford has not performed. The only game he has really performed in is a game for England. And I feel really hard done by that as a United fan, because every week you look forward to these guys playing. You support them with everything you have, and they just been letting you down. And I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if it's a mental problem. I'm not sure if he's just, something's wrong otherwise. I know Jadon Sancho is his really good friend, and I know he's not in the team, and he's probably about to be shipped off. But, he can only really blame himself, because, sometimes both parties could be wrong or right. Someone needs to be the bigger man and step up. And at the end of the day, you cannot really say something publicly offensive about the company you work for or your boss and expect not to have to apologize publicly as well. It's just simple common sense. Ivo Bosic is coming back in again. Steph, it's more about we have limited funds to use. What we have already, as best as we can. Spend only if we have no option, not spend as our first option and ignore what's in front of us. Ivo, you're coming in hot today. You know what I mean? Normally, I know you just hate the ball fraud, but at the end of the day, you got some good points, guys. Keep them coming. And I would like to present to you our second left back. Terrell Malacia has been seen in individual training yesterday, and the young lad isn't seeming to be hampered too much. He's seeming very lively. I don't have a clip to show you, but he's been in training, and who knows, he might be back sooner than we think. He's expected back in January. He could be back at the end of November, depending on his training progress. So guys, get excited. We're starting to see players coming back. The squad is getting bolstered. Why can't we do a Liverpool, what they did last season, and go on a winning run, picking up some games that wins, strong, improving with every single game till the end of the season. I don't see United not being capable of something like that. We have always gone into Christmas on a high. It's just the way United is in history. You know what I mean? Have I heard anything about Mick Ruby's sources yet? When will Jassim buy the club? Well, Leon, we're all waiting for information, and as soon as that information comes, I'll be delivering it to you. So stay tuned. You never know if you might get it this week or next week. And Stephanie Griffith is coming in. She would like to see Onana, Dalot, Reguilon, Varane, Maguire, Amrabat, Casemiro, if fit, Bruno, Anthony, Højlund, and Garnacho for your team tonight. Well, Stephanie, I know you got in a bit late today, but Casemiro is on a red card. He's not available for the game tomorrow. So today, so he will be available for selection against Manchester City. He is back in training in Manchester and is fit, so he will be raring and ready to go at the derby on Saturday. Jarvis, Palestri ain't broken. It's an opportunity to give him more experience. Benching him for a dinosaur sends the wrong message to our youth. The coach does not trust you. Jarvis, what do you have to say about this? I kind of agree with this a little bit, Jarvis. Like, we have youth. If we keep purchasing players, when are the youth ever going to get a chance? And you know what I mean? Like, I look at a lot of football. I've been watching at La Liga recently, and Barcelona has been starting a young guy. He's 15, Lamal Yamin, and he's just started for Spain. The guy is 15 years old. Like, what are we doing? They're not keeping him back. They're pushing him forward. Maybe we should push forward some of our youth guys. Like, I think I would like to see Mainu today, and that's just my opinion, because I think the young lad deserves a start. I think confidence in these young lads will breed an unknown, result, always going to be positive. You know what I mean? And if they make mistakes, they could be taken out and sat on the bench and be told, listen, you made these mistakes. You need to improve those things, and you will get selected again. The same thing happened to Garnacho in the first two games of this season. Mark Davies, I back Ten Hag at the moment. He has to drop Rashford if he's not playing well or scoring goals, but he won't. But he won't. What do you think, Mark? I back the manager always, guys. Like, I wanted Eric Ten Hag, and I always said to myself, it's going to be a 3-year process. I never thought he was going to just come in and the team is suddenly going to be playing amazing, and in 2 seasons we're going to be competing for the league. I never thought that, not for a second. You have to remember, all teams are going to improve, so it's going to take some time. But I thought he would have the mettle, the technical ability, the tactical ability, and the presence to make us better in a shorter space of time. So yeah, I agree. Like, the manager needs to drop Marcus Rashford. He's not performing. Like, I'm not going to stop saying this until he starts performing in games consistently. I will say it every single, because he's just not doing it for me. And I think it's a disservice to fans, to the team, and to the badge. And as the most senior player fit right now, he should be leading the team. He and Bruno as captain. You know what I mean? Milos Mitic, Onana, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof, Regulon, Amrabat, Bruno, Ericsson, Garnacho, Højlund, and Palestri. That's a very, very strong team there, Milos Mitic. I would love to see this team play today. To be fair, I can do it seeing that today. You know what I mean? I could even do it seeing Bruno dropped for Kobe Mainu or even Hannibal Mejbri, because I think the youths deserve game time. You know what I mean? I don't think any player should play every game or 90 minutes every day, every game. Ivo Bosic is back in. I say this because isn't playing the U10 out stick from Ajax? Or is another myth like Ajax ball? Ivo, calm down, man. Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. You know what I mean? It's not a myth. It's not a myth. I think he will play youth, but Ivo, you have to understand something. I'm one of those fans that say, play the youth, but I also watch the youth teams, right? And our youth team doesn't have those players that are ready right now. You know what I mean? So there's going to take some development. And then you have to also remember, United shifted from one style of play to a whole new system this season. So even the youth coming in, their system of training has to change and has been changing. You know what I mean? So it's just a bit of food for thought. Stephanie Griffith blocked that Galatasaray game out pretty well. Forgot Casemiro sending off. Use Hannibal instead. Definitely not Scott McGoal. Impact sub only. I got you, Stephanie Griffith. And Norman Barnes is coming in. I think emotion will sweep us to victory tonight. I agree with you. Stephanie Griffith, 16 likes. Come on, guys. When you get in here, it's easier than sending me a comment, which I definitely will do my best to read. But hit that like button. Stephanie Griffith is back in. Mainu might feature tonight, but only as a sub to ease him back in. That's not a bad shout. And as we move on, I have to mention to you guys, because as we all know, the 1958 and other groups have coordinated protests. And if you are interested in going to the Copenhagen game, there are thousands of seats available. Apparently, a lot of fans has returned their tickets and they are not going to the game. So as you can see, these are all the open seats in the bright red that are available for fans to purchase. And it must be doing something to the Manchester United club right now, because it's not usual or likely that Manchester United is in Champions League and the stadium isn't sold out a week or two in advance. So guys, keep the protest up. Look for the 1958 on Twitter. You know what I mean? They have a website. Get in, join, sign up. It's free. And you can find out ways in which you can contribute to the protest and support Manchester United. Glazers out. You know what I mean? Guys, I'm going to jump into the live chat right now and answer your questions. And we're going to talk about what you guys are thinking about in the game ahead as we look forward to the match against Copenhagen tonight under lights at Old Trafford. Any questions, anything, any ideas you guys are having? Compo Smurf is coming in. Good morning, Compo Smurf. What are you up to, man? Jarvis is back in. Evil Bossage, you make a good point. I agree with you. I'm just making a case. Costa could help us out until January. Fact is, we have about 17 games in the next 2 months. That's a game every 3 to 4 days. Jarvis is totally right here. And guys, remember, in January, there's the FA Cup and the Champions League continues. And there's also Carabao Cup. You know what I mean? So we're basically in 4 competitions, guys. So the games are going to be thick and fast. We're going to need to have solid backup. Everyone's going to need to be ready and up for games come January. So, I agree with Evo Bossage, because, maybe the youth can be depended on maybe for the Carabao Cup, maybe in the FA Cup, you know what I mean, as starters. But we need to figure this out soon. And I believe Erik ten Hag will get it right for some reason. I just feel like he's going to get it right because, him wanting to play football and him doing some of the crazy things he does, we might not always understand it in that moment. But if you look on the run of games and you look back at the games, you start seeing little things where there's subtle improvements here and improvements there. So, I think with a full squad, Erik ten Hag is going to definitely get us winning games, get it right, and have us in form, looking nice. You know what I mean? It's not been too pretty of late, but the 3 points mattered mostly to me. I'm sorry to say that, Jarvis. Don't be mad. Evo Bossage is back in. Steph, I blocked out the entire season so far. Though we did do okay versus Arsenal. I agree with that, which ironically was playing a counter-attack game that what worked for us last year. I don't really agree with that part, though. Evo, I think we were playing more of an expansive game than counter-attacking, but we allowed them to come on to us more because, we were definitely playing out from the back in that game, mostly. So, yeah, I think that was one of our best performances other than the Crystal Palace game where the youths played. And against Bayern, although we lost, I think, we did pretty well to score 3 goals. We don't really do that. And to do it against Bayern, I think that was pretty good of the team. For some reason, the team looks more lethal in the Champions League. Mark Davies, United players must play for Sir Bobby Charlton tonight. He was an icon, a hero, a gentleman, Mark. I totally agree. Like people talk about famous footballers and stuff, but I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and I've known Sir Bobby came to Trinidad at one time. You know what I mean? And just knowing that the guy has been where he has been and all the things he was doing, it was to develop grassroots, and spread the love for the game. He contributed the most out of any Manchester United player besides Ronaldo, because that's more my era. But you know what I mean? Like I know, like Dwight York is a footballer from Trinidad and Tobago actually, but played for Manchester United, contributed a lot to football in Trinidad and Tobago. And when you have legends at the club that you support, and they are also gentlemen, amazing human beings, it's a treasure, and we have to honor them always. You know what I mean? Compost Smurfs. Compost Smurf, what are you saying? Got a bad feeling we end up in Europa again this season? I'm going to leave that comment for now, Compost. We'll get back to that tomorrow. You know what I mean? After the victory tonight. Mark Davies, is there any chance that Qatar will come back into Bayern United? Have they withdrawn from Bayern United? Well, Mark, I can't say they have withdrawn or they haven't. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there's a non-disclosure agreement, and as far as we know, reports in Qatar state that the reports in the British media are false, and Qatar are still in, and they have not left. You know, there's also reports that Sheikh Jassim, you know, is ready to have the club right now. You know, there's also reports that Sir Jim is taking the 25%, but it's probably delayed for 2 weeks or probably till January. So I'm on the situation where I'm sitting, waiting for the Rain Group to disclose actual information. But when I get any leaks from anywhere, I will let you guys know. I tend to say it from both sides because at the end of the day, based on the NDA, you know, both sides or the journalists aren't sure exactly. So even if they're asking someone, they're not getting definite answers. You know what I mean? They're getting this is possibly going to happen. That is possibly the case. This is possibly happening. This is why this is happening. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of speculation. So guys, I would just advise everyone to sit tight, keep the protest up, right? If you support Qatar or you just support Full Sail, do not change that. You know, keep your mind firm on Full Sail. And that is all we can do as United fans. Ivo Bosic. Mark, we have greyhounds up front, not ball players. We don't at possession. We pump long balls. Counter-attack is our thing. Now, I don't disagree with you, right? But players are footballers at the end of the day. They're human beings. They have to be able to adapt, evolve. They have to learn new things. Everyone has to. You know what I mean? So it's not going to happen in one season that they learn new things. It's not going to happen in the first 9 games of the second season, you know, especially since last season, he paid more priority to the result than to style of play. So in my honest opinion, I think, you know, give the guys some time. You're going to see some changes to the team soon enough. As soon as the back line and the midfielders as soon as the back line or the midfielders sorting out, I think, you know, you will see other positions and problems in the team be fixed, because let's face it, guys, we have 16 players injured, right? And our entire starting back four is injured. Varane is now coming back. We just getting back Regulon, who are supposed to be a replacement for injured left backs. So when we get a full selection of defenders available for Ten Hag, I think that's when our team is going to start looking really, really solid, right? Until then, I think we're going to, you know, look good in some games, scrape wins in other games. I think it's going to be a kind of up and down thing because, you know, we're still in a rebuild, guys, you know, and anything that you're doing, it always gets worse before it gets better, especially if you're not doing it with all the perfect scenarios and perfect circumstances in place to assist. Owners, board, yes men, and complacent inherited players hinder any new manager, in my opinion. And I agree with that comment, you know, because we have a lot of players who aren't fit for task. You know, they are great players, but they are not meant for a possession-based system. And because of this, they're having problems, and the team will have problems, and it will affect other players. It's just natural, right? You know, a lot of people talk about Ange and Tottenham and Spurs, and I think one of the biggest things that people aren't paying attention to is the fact that Spurs was always an expansive team. They always scouted players who played that kind of attractive attacking football. And then they went and got Jose Mourinho, who's a defensive coach. And they went and got Antonio Conte, who's even more defensive. He's like a defensive expansive coach. So they play more defense than they play expansive. And the players that Tottenham Hotspurs had at the time, they weren't fit for that type of system of play. So they tried, but they couldn't do it. And then what happened? Tottenham went and they got Ange Postecoglou. And Ange Postecoglou is a expansive type attacking coach. So he inherited players who were meant for the system he is intending to play. Although he has his own style, it's still in that same expansive attacking system. So I think we need to pay attention to that because they are doing well. But I guarantee you guys, Spurs is going to finish below Manchester United this season, right? You heard it here first. Campo Spurs, Mark, we will win tonight, I'm sure. I just worry about the Galatasaray away. Hey guys, I know people say when we go to Galatasaray, we're going in hell. We're the Red Devils, guys. Don't be afraid of that. We're gonna walk in there, smile, bag some goals, and come back out. And I actually think since we scored 2 goals away on them first, I think we will score more in the away leg on Galatasaray. I don't think they're gonna be able to hold us back. You know, they're gonna want to win at home. They're not gonna sit back at home. They're gonna want to win. And if they want to win, we're gonna get goals. So I think Hoyland is got their number. That's just my opinion. He looked really amazing in their game, grabbing the 2 goals he had, and I think he will do really well. Norman Barnes, Qatari bid is dead. We have to move on. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Jarvis Cocker, Madison and Postecoglou, player and manager of the month. Could Spurs possibly fight for the title this season? It's a possibility, Jarvis. They're doing really well. You know what I mean? I would say let's wait until game week 15 or 17 before we start thinking about a team winning the title because, in my honest opinion, no one ever wins the league in October. And Tottenham, well, they're the Spurs. Like they bottle the season sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's like Arsenal. Arsenal led the league for 232 days last season and then flopped. So, I don't mind Spurs doing really well because then, they kind of bring a unknown variable to the Premier League this season because some teams that you expected to beat them might drop points against them, which will also be good for Manchester United. So I think they're doing really well, and if they keep it up, they might be in a title challenge. But I also believe that Manchester United will finish ahead of Spurs at the end of the season. That's just my opinion. Ivo Bosic, all our legit ball players are benched or banned. I'm just saying. I mean, Ivo, I think we are both Sancho fans, but at the end of the day, we could agree on one thing, right? He is wrong. Whether or not you think you feel something, like if you work for people and they tell you they observed you and they don't believe your performance is up to par, then as an employee, bro, like all honesty, you have to do better because you can't just tell your boss, well, I think I was doing good. If the boss says to you, maybe you could do better, try to do better as well. Like it's not always about, someone's picking on you. You know what I mean? They're probably just trying to motivate you to do better. So you never know. Mark, the legit. I can't, Milos, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'll have to get Jarvis or Mick to reply to these messages for you tomorrow, or I will learn. You need to teach me. Stephanie, hot potato football with Bruno and Rashi. Okay, for moments, not 90. No control means no control. Yeah, I agree with you, Stephanie. You know what? These 2 guys, they are the leaders of the team and they need to do better. And we cannot completely dismiss their accountability for the performance United has been having. I feel like fans have been dismissing the accountability of players in the recent months. You know what I mean? Players are largely responsible for what happens on the field. And if we don't start holding them accountable for their inability to be as good as we know they can be, and consistently, then we aren't being proper fans, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Compost Smurf, if they are 200K power plus, can we learn to make simple 10 to 20 yard passes that they need selling? I agree with you, man. Like some of these players aren't worth their pennies and they need to do better or they need to go. If If United score first tonight, I hope we get a good win tonight. We need a win. Yeah, we need a win, and I think we will score first. My prediction is 3-1, and I think Højlund is going to get a brace. Bruno is going to score the opener. Because I'm a Bruno fan, but at the same time, he's not playing well. I think he should get rested. It's just my opinion, but I know he's going to start for some reason. Rashford as well is going to start for some reason. I hope not, and I hope I'm wrong, because knowing that Man City is on Saturday, I would rather see Rashford and Bruno on the bench tonight, and Garnacho and maybe Mason Mount, or even Hannibal Mejbri or Christian Eriksen in the 10 tonight, because we need these guys on Saturday. We need our full squad, fit, ready, hungry, because Manchester United derby is going to be war. Ivo Bosic, I genuinely think his entire plan rests on Mainu being fit. That kid is a baller. Yeah, I think it's a big part of his plan. But can you blame him though, guys? We keep talking about it like Manchester United, we didn't have the money to get players in the summer. And even if we had the money, we don't have the negotiating staff capable of negotiating proper deals. You know what I mean? These guys are like lame. They're worse than the Glazers. It's like there's few people in there who work at the job because they love it and they want to be the best they can be. It's like they're just like, okay, we got a job, let's just get paid. It's crazy. Compo Smurf, it's as clear as day what the manager wants, but we have too many players that are too comfortable just hoofing it. Totally agree there. We can do it, Jarvis Cocker says, but Ten Hag needs to be ruthless and bench his favorites. Bruno, Rashi, Anthony, and McTominay need to sit down and learn. Play Eriksen in the 10, give Garnacho and Palestri a run of games. Jarvis, I want this too, man. Like, if this could happen for the next 5 games, I'm a happy guy. I'm being honest. And I honestly think the team will grow from this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Stephanie Griffith, Evo, Mainu, Gore, and Lacey need a pathway. We are united. Don't always need to sign so-called big names or expensive young prospects. That's a fact. Spurs looked a lot worse with Bissouma out. Their bench is awful. That's a fact. My favorite players at United over the decades, Keane, York, Cole, Beckham. They had heart and passion, played for the badge. Totally agree. Those guys were like clutch. You know what I mean? You have 4 big names there. Like Roy Keane is the monster in the midfield. Dwight York is the greatest Caribbean footballer ever existed, in my opinion. Andy Cole is amazing. And David Beckham, well, you can't bend it like him. No one can. The dude is just amazing, Ivo Bosic is back in. If Son and Madison stay fit all season, they'll come close. Only other issue is losing Bissouma to AFCON. That's a good shout. And let's see. Mark Davies is back in. I remember when Barcelona versus United, it was a good game. When it was Barcelona 3, United 3, York to Cole. Bang. Game was over. I know what you mean. Jarvis. And you guys, if you'd like, get in with your score predictions for the match later, and let's see what you guys are thinking. I'm about to get off the stream. So just, shout out your match predictions, what you think about tonight, who you think is going to be the first goal scorer, and let us know. Jarvis Cocker's prediction is, my heart says 2-1, my brain says 1-1. Jarvis, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Not with that, bro. Ivo Bosic, we are MUFC. We are hoping to beat a no-name team from Denmark. No offense. Ten Hag should be saying we are coming to crush you. Not that they are difficult. Not they are a difficult opponent. Football has changed, Ivo Bosic. Like years ago, you could say those things, but now any team with the technology and the advancements in football, any team could be a good team right now because young talents all come from somewhere, and most of them come from no-name teams, guys. Remember that. At Ivo Bosic, I agree, but we know the level of our players, simply not good enough. Copenhagen is a much better team than Sheffield United. Jarvis is speaking facts with that one. Mark Davies is coming in 3-1 to United. Come on, United. Who else is coming in with score predictions as I get ready to close the show? No one else is coming in? All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I would like you all to remember that the players are about to play for the badge tonight. It's a big game. Everyone tune in. You know, Manchester United first game at home in the Champions League since the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton. The lads and the lasses and the gaffer hope to contribute and tribute this game to the late great legend. So guys, thank you for joining me this morning. This has been Marc MUFC with your morning news, and I hope you guys could join us later for the match prediction and the game. Have a good day.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. If you want to take it to the next level, you can always show your appreciation to sponsor our channel by clicking below the video title, where you will see the heart icon with the text saying, thanks. Or you could buy me a cheeky little coffee by scanning this barcode, or visit this link to buy me a virtual coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. Remember, glory, glory, Man United, Glazers out. It is green and gold until we are announced and sold. That was all from me. I wish you a good day and a great match experience, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.